Good morning, good morning, good morning, Long Island again. We are finally back home. Good morning to everybody who is tuning in early again on a Wednesday morning live from the America First Media Campus. This is episode 39, I think. I've lost count, but I think it's episode 39 of We Will Not Comply. We're live on Facebook, we're live on Twitter, we're live on YouTube. And good morning to everybody who is jumping in. Hopefully everything sounds good. I know everything, we set it all back up when we landed yesterday. Shout out Joe the Box and Mikey came down there and picked us up from the airport yesterday. What a great trip home that was, and a refreshing sight to see some Patriots we hop in the truck, come back home with. So thank you guys. And to everybody who was watching along, and I know we were trying to figure out if there was going to be a way to live stream from the event. We tried. There was no space where we were currently, but we definitely wanted to also be out and about and mingle with all the people that were over in AmericaFest. Turning Point USA's AmericaFest was an awesome event. I got to say, it was done very well. It was a fun time, and yes, we met a lot of pretty cool people, ranging from influencers and activists in other towns. In other cities across the country. We met a bunch of activists and influencers and internet sensations everywhere. It was a fun time for all of us, I think. You know, we met people like Elijah Schaefer. We met a few folks out there. Jack Posobiec was out there. James O'Keefe. Heather bumped into James O'Keefe in the hotel gym. So that was a fun time. And there's a video there that James had actually made for us that we will be putting out later today, if not tomorrow, because again, you know, when you go to these conventions, and I urge everybody who's listening, I mean, if you can go to something like this, it's cool to see. You know, everybody comes together from around the country. People thought it was incredible that we were coming all the way out there from Long Island. They said, oh my God, Long Island, that's all the way across the country. Yeah, it is. It's all the way across the country. We're not afraid of a little flying, not afraid of a little travel, and we want to spread the message of the loud majority everywhere. And so we connected with a bunch of people. We connected with some folks from the great state of Georgia, who we may be running down there to help in early March. We met some folks from the great state of Tennessee, who we may be heading down there and helping them in the 2022 midterm races. So this is all breaking news, folks, right? Some new news about what the loud majority plans on doing. We met a few folks from the great state of Ohio, where we may be helping them out at some point in time in the 2022 election cycle. We met a bunch of patriots from the great state of California, Metroflex Gym. Look that up. Metroflex Gym in Oceanside, California. His name is Lewis. He's the owner of that gym. He's like, you guys know Ian Smith. You look at the chat. You guys know Ian Smith. Ian Smith, the gym owner in New Jersey. So this man was Ian Smith before Ian Smith. That's not to take anything away from Ian Smith. Still a brave patriot. But Lewis over in California, Metroflex Gym in Oceanside, California. Incredible patriot, and met him at the Turning Point USA AmericaFest as well. Sebastian Gorka. Well, you guys saw the picture with Seb Gorka. I posted that up on Instagram. He was very kind and with his time, and was a pleasure to chat with outside of the hotel. Saw Sebastian Gorka. Relief factor. Sebastian Gorka, what a great time. Kyle Rittenhouse. I know you guys saw the picture, and if there's something to be said about the left and how intolerant they are, just if you want to do a little experiment yourself, post a picture that is complimentary of Kyle Rittenhouse. Post a picture that is complimentary of Kyle Rittenhouse and see what happens. You know, I say that I was honored to shake his hand because I was, and they are just all over it. Shout out to Russell Schneider. Happy birthday. We're happy to be back with that. So happy birthday, Russell. And another shout out to our good friend. You know, if you guys don't see this happening on Instagram, it was unbelievable. I think it was Saturday night. I think it was Saturday night on Instagram. I got a strange comment that said I was at a super spreader event, and it was from our good friend Kristen Robinson, who just can't stay away. There's something, she's very strange, obsessed with me or something. All of a sudden, she's following me on Instagram and commenting on my posts there. So it's very weird. I say, Kristen, why can't you just go away? Like, get off. You don't like me. We don't like you. Get the hell off my post. I'm not going to block her because she got 190 replies to her comment and got humiliated. And the best part about it was, oh my gosh, it's a super spreader event. And I looked at it. I didn't know who this person was at first until she made it clear that it was her. And her bio said, she's fighting an existential crisis one donut at a time. Really? So you're gonna survive by eating donuts, huh? Pardon me if I don't give your stance on public health any credibility. Sorry, donuts are not the answer. And so, it's just a joke. Okay, well, you're allowed to make jokes. We're not. So, but it was funny. And she was commenting like all the way into the next day. It must be lonely not being on a library committee, I guess. So anyway, I'm not mad about that. Sure. Kristen, do me a favor. Next time you run for something that you need to be elected for, don't let me know because I'm going to make sure that you're not elected. Anyway, we are here. We're back. We're back on Long Island. We're back for quite some time. The next big event that we're looking at is probably CPAC in February, which is slated to be a very big deal. Obviously, 2022, we're in the midterms. We're looking to take back the House. We're looking to take back the Senate. So 2022 CPAC is going to be incredible. Looking to do some big things there, move and shake some big things for CPAC in 2022. But we're back, and it was a great trip. We had a great time. Shout out to Real America's Voice, Harry Oates and his team down there in Phoenix. We were able to do a quick interview on Rav on, I think it was Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. I'm not sure when it aired. It was in the afternoon, but it was a great opportunity just to get out there. And really just, again, an event like that, Turning Point USA, a great organization. I mean, they are huge, very influential on college campuses. It was great. It was great really to get out there and talk to other activists and influencers and folks who have a presence on social media so that we can collaborate. I'm not sure if you know Jordan Sarmo, I think is his name, on Instagram. A tremendous guy. We met him. He's excited. He's out in Orlando right now. Has a good following in Los Angeles and Orlando. Has some folks in New York who follow him. He's a great guy. He's getting active in his local community. We talked about Lewis from Metroflex Gym. He's been active at his school boards and all of these things. So, it's great to see these people. And there's a lot of and this is my biggest criticism, and not of us, but my biggest criticism of the internet era in general. There are a lot of people who like to talk. There are a lot of people who come on the internet and do shares and do their videos and they go viral and they do absolutely nothing. And if you are one of those people who is in it for the likes and in it for the shares, then you are a grifter. You are useless. And leave the real work to folks like us, like the Loud Majority, and like folks like Metroflex Gym, Lewis and Metroflex Gym, and Jordan down in Orlando, who's actually getting involved. If you're just somebody who's posting on social media and you're not knocking on doors, if you're just somebody who's just got 100,000 views and you think that's going to make a difference because you haven't knocked on the door, you haven't walked a single district, you haven't gone to a rally, you haven't talked to a candidate, you haven't gone to a school board meeting, you haven't really gotten involved, then please do me a favor and just stop. Like, either lead, like this is a cliche, but lead, follow, and get out of the way, or get out of the way. Sorry, but we did meet a bunch of folks out there, and I told people, I said, listen, man, I see you posting all the time. I don't see what you're actually doing. Loud Majority played a big role in flipping our counties red. We can actually say that, yeah, we come on there, and we stream 3 days a week. And And now I'm going to talk about something else that isn't bothering me, but I'm going to tell you something. We're all very smart people. Okay? Assembly Bill A416. Assembly Bill A416. I got tons and tons of messages about Assembly Bill A416. That's the whole governor can imprison people or put them into quarantine camps, and it's a very scary bill, don't get me wrong. A lot of messages I got was as if I'd never heard of it. We did shows about this 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, Assembly Bill A416. It's up for a vote on January 5th up in Albany, but it's not, actually. And this is something that we need to be very careful with moving forward. We are not in the ability, we don't have the ability, we don't have that safe haven to make these mistakes on social media. Okay? Assembly Bill A416 has been withdrawn from the Assembly. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Well, I shouldn't say that. You don't have to worry about it this session. Assembly Bill A416 has been taken out. We need, as citizen journalists, as truth speakers, we need, all of us, need to be a lot better with the way we react to these things and post about them on social media. The bill has been withdrawn from the Assembly. That's it. Now, if we go out there and start talking about it right now, you're going to get censored, you're going to get banned, because what you're saying isn't true. The bill's not in the Assembly. It's not coming to a vote on January 5th. Okay? The same thing happens with these vaccines. I am tired of fielding questions about why did Trump say he got the booster. You know why he said he got the booster? Because he got the booster. No, I don't believe him. Okay, so you're going to call him a liar? Why would he do that? He's a traitor. No, he's not a traitor. He got the booster. He brought the vaccine to market. People get booster shots. I'm not telling you to get it. I'm not telling you one way or the other if it's a good idea or bad idea. But Trump, well, why did he say he got the booster shot? Because he did. Now, if that breaks your heart that Donald Trump got a vaccine, there's a problem. You are too involved in kind of waiting for government to tell you what to do. The vaccine versus no vaccine issue is not supposed to be a Trump versus Democrat or Trump versus Biden issue. And I've said it from the beginning, and I will maintain that because I have standards. I am not anti-vax. I'm anti-force. With that being said, I will not be getting the COVID vaccine because I personally feel like I don't need it. I have natural immunity. I'm not of an at-risk demographic. Okay, 30 years old, decent health. All right. Freedom works both ways. It's just a Jeannie Leonard right here. Freedom works both ways. It is not my duty to tell people what to do. I am not a doctor. It is not my duty to tell people to get vaccinated or not. And if Donald Trump comes out, a 75 or so year old man who's not in top physical shape, let's be honest, okay? You know, I eat a lot of McDonald's. I've got beautiful hair, but maybe, you know. I don't worry about who gets the vaccine, who doesn't get the vaccine. Talk to your doctors. Talk to your healthcare professionals. And if you're using the VAERS website, please use the right one. There are tons of fake ones out there that are saying things that aren't true. Now, the problem, and I'm gonna set people off here, and you know what? Good. Because this is getting me angry. The problem that we're having as conservatives right now, as truth tellers, as truth spreaders, as truth seekers, as whatever you want to call us, the problem that we're having right now is we are spreading just as much misinformation as they are. There's a guy out there by the name of Lin Wood who's a lunatic. We have to stop listening to this man. Sorry. If that means people are going to turn the stream off, I'm sorry. But I'm here to tell you what I believe is true. And what I believe is demonstrably true. What I believe is absolutely true is that this man, Lin Wood, is barely a man at all. And if you're paying attention to him, you might as well pay attention to Joe Biden. Because they're both talking out of their backside. Kyle Rittenhouse is a member of the deep state? Really? I wonder if Kyle Rittenhouse was convicted if he would have been a member of the deep state. I wonder. Michael Flynn, General Flynn, is a member of the deep state? Linwood, really? Really? And so now it's time to bring into question, what has Linwood actually done besides cost us an election in Georgia? What has Linwood done that has actually been proven correct? Don't tell me 2020. Because you don't have provable evidence of what exactly happened in 2020. And so I'm waiting. And I will continue to wait. Lin Wood has been right the same amount of times that socialism has worked in the world. 0. It is time to stop listening to this man. I'm not going to watch a dude come out here and smear an 18-year-old kid, a 17-year-old kid at the time, leave him in jail for 87 days to grift off of him and make money, and then think that that man, Lin Wood, is going to be the guy who's going to save the country. He's a cool speaker. He's a theatrical guy. But I am absolutely not going to take a word that dude says seriously. And if that upsets people, fine. Michael Flynn was a political prisoner for some time. Now he's a member of the deep state. Now, this isn't to say that Lin Wood wasn't once a very bright man, but he went off. He went off the deep end, folks. And so if you believe in the Lin Wood stuff and you believe in some of those outlandish, that's great. That's great. Do yourself a favor, though, and anything that you hear that comes from Lin Wood, just look it up yourself independently. Fact check him. Now back to Donald Trump and the booster shot. If this hit you like some sort of tragedy, if this hit you like some sort of heartbreak, then you're doing something that I say never to do. We don't worship the golden calf. You know, I'm a huge supporter of President Trump. Huge. I think he's about the right things. I think he's honest. Do you know how much easier it would have been for Trump to come out and lie and say he didn't get the booster? Do you know how much easier that would have been for Donald Trump to come outside and get the booster? I don't get the booster. He could have come out and said that. He would have been very popular among his supporters. But he could have come out and said that. He didn't. Because he's honest. And I think that's something we should value. I think that's a good thing. I would be more upset if Donald Trump came out yesterday or whenever it was with Bill O'Reilly and said, I didn't get the booster, and then in 3 months we found out that he lied to everybody. You meet with your doctor. You meet with your family. You look at the ingredients online. You look at the correct VAERS website. And you determine whether or not you get this vaccine. Now, he may not be He's not somebody who's in amazing physical health. Remember, he's had COVID. He had a rough go with it. But he had the choice. And he took the choice. And that's all I want people to have regarding these vaccines is choice. It's not about, you have to understand, it's not about whether or not you should or shouldn't get whether or not you should or shouldn't get the vaccine is between you and a medical professional that you trust. And and look, by the way, if your doctor tells you to get the vaccine, you still don't have to get it. Because it's your choice. It was Donald Trump's choice. Just like it's my choice not to get it. Just like it's a lot of your choices not to get it. Just like there are people who are watching right now in this chat who I know have received 2 doses or you would go and say is fully vaccinated. And guess what? Good. I don't care. I'm happy for you. I will not for 1 second look at a person who is vaccinated and shame them. I won't do that. I won't do that. I will not take, and just like I don't want someone to shame me for being unvaccinated. Don't you get it? What kind of atmosphere we can't create? There were people at the Turning Point event, kids, students, who were vaccinated. They had to go to college, to be a part of Turning Point. And when certain kids and students, I am vaccinated, I didn't run away from them or ask what the hell is wrong with you. Some of them told me they were vaccinated. They didn't want to get vaccinated. I felt terrible. But they made a choice. And that's what it's ultimately going to come down to in every situation. We want it to come down to it being your choice, not Biden's choice. And I will not be a hypocrite. I will not be somebody who says we don't want the unvaccinated to be shamed. So I will not shame the vaccinated. Do I think it's ridiculous if we're lining up for booster number 8? Yes. I'll think that's a little silly. That hasn't happened yet. Keyword yet. If that is happening, I think that's silly. But again, that is up to you and your doctor. I know a lot of people who support Donald Trump who got the vaccine. I don't have a problem with those individuals. I don't have a problem with anybody who gets this vaccine as long as you're not shaming people. We are not the left. We are not the left. We did not just win these elections in Nassau and Suffolk County because we're the left. So to anybody who's upset or taken back or startled by the fact that Donald Trump got his booster shot and announced that he got his booster shot, I mean, folks, what is Dan Bongino a fraud too then? I don't think so. I don't think so. Bongino's gotten his shots. He just got over COVID. A bad case of it. Because Bongino's doctor told him, because he was recovering from cancer, that it was in his best interest to protect himself with the vaccine. Now, there are plenty of things about the vaccines that we can ask questions about. We need to go over some definitions. First of all, what is a vaccine? Now, we know that a vaccine was something. Oh, that's right. Lynn Wood hates Dan Bongino too. I forgot. You see, this is what I'm talking about. But a vaccine used to be something that prevents illness. This does not prevent illness. It's clear as day. And I don't think anyone should be taking issue with anyone who says that. We need an explanation. Cornell University had 900 positive cases. All of the people on that campus have to be vaccinated, so we want to find out if they were all vaccinated, how that happened. Now they've changed the definition of vaccination with regards to COVID. Instead of something that prevents illness, is preventing serious illness and death. Well, folks, in that case, it's not a vaccination, it's a therapeutic, it's a treatment. Even Joe Biden in his speech said that he knows that vaccinated people are going to wind up getting sick, and he said even possibly in large numbers. That's nobody's fault. That's not because there are 40 million unvaccinated people in the United States. That's not because the vaccine is causing COVID. It's because we're dealing with a virus. It's a medical phenomenon. It's mutating like crazy. And luckily, it's dying out in severity. Omicron took a man's life in Texas. Omicron is now as deadly in the United States of America as Alec Baldwin. The man who died in Texas, I believe, was in his 50s, unvaccinated, and had underlying health conditions, and he died. Now, when you look at professional sports, when you look at these healthcare jobs, these teaching jobs, these federal contracting jobs, and you see vaccination mandates, and you understand that this should be our choice, and that your job should not be, your livelihood should not be the collateral here, should not be the carrot that's dangling in front of the cart. People absolutely should not be losing their jobs over this. And that is wrong. That is wrong. And that's where you need to push back. That's where we need to fight. But we don't need to fight it by undermining the vaccine. Or even if you want to undermine, we know one thing and one thing only right now, and is that the vaccine does not prevent you. The vaccine does not prevent you from getting COVID. Now, I don't know how you measure whether or not it's providing you any protection from serious illness or death. The virus itself has a 99.98% survival rate. It was the same argument, too, that I had about masks. If you believe the mask keeps you safer, then wear it. We know it doesn't, especially those cloth ones, a piece of fabric that goes over your face. But if you believe the mask keeps you safe, if it makes you feel better, put it on. If you think you're going to be safer driving with the mask on, do it. You're ridiculous. I think you're silly, but that's me thinking you're silly. I don't need to mean anything to those people. I won't drive around with a mask on. I have no interest in putting it on because I don't like to do things that don't make sense. Marcus Aurelius said it best: no pointless actions. For me, wearing a mask is pointless. I know it doesn't help. It doesn't protect me from getting sick. If it did, we wouldn't be on day 647, that's today, of 15 days to slow the spread. I know the mask doesn't help us stop COVID because we're still dealing with COVID, and we've been wearing masks for almost 2 years. If you believe the vaccine offers you protection, then get it. I don't believe getting the vaccine, in my case, will be something that protects me more than I'm already protected. I have natural immunity, and I've been exposed several times since I've gotten over my infection and haven't gotten sick again. Why are we not looking more into natural immunity? Because natural immunity is free. Why are we not looking at monoclonal antibodies as one of the best and most effective treatments? Up there with ivermectin, up there with hydroxychloroquine and zinc. Why are we not looking at that? Because Pfizer doesn't make any money. Well, they make money off their pill, but they don't make any money off of natural immunity. Because only gyms and fitness outlets make money off of a healthy lifestyle. You ever think maybe when we're dealing with a quote-unquote public health emergency that the answer might be to just live a little healthier? You know, I do the keto diet because I get migraines, and it keeps my migraines away. There's a link between migraines and epilepsy, and the keto diet is a diet that was developed to treat drug-resistant epilepsy. For those you don't know, you should look into this. Is pretty cool. The keto diet, it's effective as a weight loss diet. Sure, I don't have a weight problem. But I do the keto diet, and I try to stay active, to stay in ketosis, because it keeps the migraines away. And if not, I'm going to deal with anywhere from 4 to 6 migraines a week. Nauseating. Heads pounding. You know, awful. You know what I'm talking about. Those of you out there who suffer from migraines, you know what I'm talking about. But it's amazing when you dedicate yourself to practicing what you would deem a healthy lifestyle. And sure, I know people look at me like I have 9 heads when they see me eating bacon, dipping it in mayonnaise, and going, "My gosh, you're gonna get yourself a heart attack." Well, don't you find it funny that I've been doing this diet for however many years, and all my numbers that are supposed to lead to heart attacks, you know, your triglyceride numbers and your cholesterol number, they're on the way down? Isn't it interesting when you find out that the FDA themselves are the ones who created diabetes by introducing a standard American diet, high-carb lifestyle? Think about how much bread we consume, cereal, pancakes, potato chips, right? Pretzels, sandwiches, hamburgers, hot dogs. It's all bread, pasta. Nothing wrong with it in moderation. But when you realize that eating the diet, the standard American diet, the SAD diet, created diabetes, I'm done listening to these people. I know it works for me. And again, I've gotten crapped on from doctors to people. "Oh, this keto diet, it's dangerous. What the hell are you doing?" Well, you know what I'm doing? I'm preventing headaches, and I feel great. It is about choice, folks. You know what works. You know what works for your body. You talk to your doctor. I don't want to be shamed because I eat a certain way. I don't want to be shamed because I vote a certain way. I don't want to be shamed because I decided to take or not take an injectable treatment for a virus that I've already survived. You know, I'll look up Dr. Timothy Noakes. I believe he was from South Africa. Completely challenged the bread industry, so to speak, and almost got jailed by the South African government. What does that tell you? They took the same actions against him that they take against people like us now for asking questions about the vaccine. There are a lot of people out there who don't want you to have the choice. I want you to have the choice. I always want you to have the choice. I believe a responsible government gives its people the choice. It takes the responsibility off of government's plate. They're not here to fix every problem. Government is not here to help you either. They're here to set just guidelines and make sure that we adhere to them. But that's it. Now, I have some good news for you, and I'm happy to get some of that off my chest because, you know, I don't want to come on here and be a hypocrite. I don't want to come on here and tell you that, well, you know, the left likes to put everybody in a big bucket. If you're a Trump supporter, you're a Nazi. Or if you took the vaccine, you're getting poisoned. Or, you know what I mean? Like, that's not, I don't do that type of thing. Let's be careful with what we say. Let's be careful with, there are friends of mine who are vaccinated, and they're still friends of mine because I'm not a leftist. There are friends of mine who have been vaccinated, and I still go around those people because I'm not a liberal. And I do not wish to live in a society where we need to just divide each other based off of whether or not we took a vaccine. I don't wish to sit here and have to worry about, oh, that person said they're vaccinated, so they're shedding spike protein, so I'm staying away from them. Folks, no. But that might be true. We just don't know it yet. I've got friends who are vaccinated. I've got friends who are unvaccinated. Here's what I care about. Are you a good person or are you a bad person? And taking the vaccine does not determine that one way or the other. Forcing the vaccine on people does. If you're somebody who is forcing the vaccine on somebody, you are not a good person. If you are somebody who is mandating the vaccine, going around somebody's ability to make their own choices, going around the ability of someone to trust their own doctor and talk to their medical professionals and get professional medical advice, if you're somebody who is trying to impose your will on someone, then you're not a good person. I don't care if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. I don't care if you voted for Trump. If you voted for Donald Trump but you think vaccine mandates are a thing and that should happen, guess what? I don't agree with you on that issue. And I think that's dangerous. I do not believe in this game that we are playing, that we're turning into conservative versions of liberals. If somebody's wearing a mask, I've seen people at our rallies that are wearing masks. I don't go over to them and say, take that off. What do you think you're doing? It's your choice, folks. I may not think you're doing anything that's, I may not think you're doing something that's helping you, but if you believe you're keeping yourself safe, then you do it. Okay? It's that simple. I would really hate it if the mandatory vaccine bill passed in the United States, in the New York State Assembly Bill A8378. I see somebody in the chat here talking about fixing 2020. Well, you need to define what that means. And if you're going to say the word Dominion, I want you to look back at what just happened on Long Island in Nassau and Suffolk County. If you're telling me that every election is rigged, then how the hell did we just win? I am not here to lie to anybody. I'm not here to, you may turn the stream on and think I'm going to tell you something that might make you feel good, or I might come on and yell at you if I think we're being silly. Sometimes we all act silly. I act silly sometimes. We'll all do it. But if all these elections were rigged, how the hell did we just turn Nassau County red? How the hell did we just turn Suffolk County red? How the hell are we looking at 2/3 of New York State of these counties who are not enforcing Kathy Hochul's mandates? Isn't that great to see? Isn't that great to see the power of the people working out the way it's supposed to work out? Laura Curran, outgoing Nassau County executive. Laura Curran says she's not going to actively enforce it. And then Bruce Blakeman coming in. Dominion's been in New York for a while, by the way. We need to do our research. I just voted on a Dominion machine a week ago. But don't you think we're in a situation where it would be a lot more helpful if we could just return the power to the people? Listen to this. Nassau County winds up saying they're not going to enforce it. Now Steve Ballone in Suffolk County saying he's not going to be actively or pursuing hard enforcement of the mask mandate. They're just going to, quote unquote, inform businesses that the benefits of blah, 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 blah. Now, I love this this comment here in the chat telling me that I'm a clown because the voting machines need to go. I mean, I would love to go back to paper ballots, don't get me wrong. But if the machines ruined everything, how did we win in 2021? If New York is rigged, how did we just witness a red wave? Answer the question. Maybe we'll do an entire show about this one day. Maybe we'll do something on a weekend or something where we could take calls about how rigged everything is despite the fact that we're winning. I'm not saying 2020 was on the up and up. I'm not saying I don't have questions. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is the over-generalized response of, well, it's rigged and we're screwed. All that does is undermine our confidence in our own votes, and it's not safe. It's not healthy, and it doesn't help us win elections. So stop it. Someone says here, you just want to move on because Zeldin told you so. Can't even spell Zeldin's name right. So, whatever. And I believe that it was the mail-in ballots that were the problem anyway, and that those are going to be that are going to continue to be the problem. We know what Mark Elias did. We know what his game plan was from the beginning. But I have some great news. Okay? I've got some great news. There's an article here, The Political Insider. Now, I don't love Kevin McCarthy. I'm still very skeptical of Kevin McCarthy. But I do like action. You know I like action. You know I like when I say, you know, there are influencers and there are people who like to talk, right? There are people who like to run their mouths and say, here's what we're doing, and they post the meme, and they don't get out on the street and knock on doors. Those are my least favorite people. Right? And then there are people who take action. And I believe here Kevin McCarthy is actually starting to show us that he wants to take action. Folks, if you see in the chat here, I'm a rhino, apparently. God, I just love it. I'm a rhino. Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm playing you all. I'm apparently a rhino. Just flew halfway across the country. Came back. I'm streaming this morning. I'm a rhino. Okay. Linwood is there. You go. There. Now you have your true colors in the chat. Linwood is the only one standing up for 20. Okay. Go ahead. You go ahead and put your faith in the guy who's been right less times than CNN, and we'll continue on here. I might have to block this guy. Anyway. Kevin McCarthy, who I'm very lukewarm about. I'm not somebody who loves Kevin McCarthy. I'm not somebody who is very optimistic about Kevin McCarthy. I have my reservations about a guy like McCarthy, especially after we had the Paul Ryan experience. Where we had the control of the House of Representatives, we had control of the Senate, and we essentially punted the football. We did nothing in Trump's first 2 years, and that was due in large to weak House of Representatives leadership. I got an article here in the Political Insider. They're citing information and stories that they got from the outlet Axios about what Kevin McCarthy is planning on doing for his run as Speaker of the House, should that happen, if the Republicans take the House back. This is great news. The headline here in the Political Insider, here are the 7 investigations the GOP is planning for the Biden administration if they take back the House. The GOP is planning multiple investigations into the Biden administration should they take back the majority in the House of Representatives in 2022. Axios has confirmed the plans obtained exclusively by the outlet, saying House Republicans have already, quote, begun mapping aggressive probes of the Biden administration, end quote. They state that the House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy, quote, plans to beef up staff, counsel, and other resources to be ready to extract information beginning day one if the GOP gets the gavel. Axios, however, frequently described as a more level-headed and unbiased outlet, suggests that the investigations are little more than an attempt to take the focus off the Democrats' Capitol riot probe and to stoke a culture war in 2024. Well, folks, there's already a culture war. The culture war is already happening. And we're watching as they're trying to use children as political pawns. We watch as they're shoving an anti-American, divisive, and racist education and curriculum down the throats of your children. We watch as they're trying to mandate vaccines and mandate mask wearing on a group, the kids, that are the least susceptible to this virus. And I'd like to point out, too, that if you are a believer in the vaccine and the protections that the vaccine offers you, whether that's a protection against illness, which we know is not true, or a protection against serious illness and death, which is still out, right? If you believe the vaccine is that effective, then why do you care if other people aren't vaccinated? You're vaccinated. You shouldn't need mass vaccinations among children if you've gotten your shots and you're boosted and you believe that you've done the right thing. What I don't like is the virtue signaling. Well, I've done my part. It's my patriotic duty. Okay, wrong again. The culture war has already started, though. But here's the great news about Kevin McCarthy. Axios is reporting that there are 7 investigations into the Biden administration that the GOP is seeking to commence on day 1 should they take back the House. They include the IRS, the National Security Agency, parents, school board stuff, the southern border, COVID, Afghanistan, and something called Jedi, not Star Wars, and that's not a diversity, equity, and inclusion thing either. Most of these are familiar to anybody who's been observing the state our country has been in since Biden entered office. The Afghanistan withdrawal, for example, led to a suicide bombing, killing 13 service members, a retaliatory drone strike by the United States that killed 10 civilians, including an aid worker and 7 children, and hundreds of Americans being left behind in the Taliban-controlled country even to this day. Let us not forget that Afghanistan was a disaster. And when that was going on in September, that's when the approval rating of the Brandon administration had started to hit the skids. The other scandals under the Biden administration are equally noteworthy. The crisis at the southern border, this is incredible, these numbers, continues to worsen with more than 173,000 illegal immigrants apprehended last month, according to preliminary reporting. That marks the highest total for November in the Department of Homeland Security's history. The highest number of apprehensions in the month of November ever, 173,000 in November of 2021. Another potential investigation will include the White House working in tandem with the National School Boards Association, NSBA, to brand parents concerned about their children's education as domestic terrorists. A letter sent on September 29th by the NSBA and coordinated with the White House and DOJ requested an investigation into whether or not confrontations from outraged parents regarding mask mandates or critical race theory curricula amounted to a violation of the Patriot Act. The group, the NSBA, suggested that, quote, the classification of these heinous actions could be the equivalent to a form of domestic terrorism and hate crimes. The Patriot Act was designed primarily to stop the threat of Islamic jihadists. Foolishly signed into law by then-President George W. Bush. I just added that. That wasn't in the article. Another Biden investigation could center on the origins of a COVID-19 pandemic the president vowed to shut down. The others might be a little more obscure to the casual observer. An IRS probe would investigate the leak of a vast cache of IRS information about billionaires that leaked to ProPublica. The NSA investigation would involve Tucker Carlson, Fox News' Tucker Carlson, who alleged that his show's communications were tapped and targeted by the NSA. We need to know if our NSA is targeting journalists. And then this Jedi program is a disputed cloud computing contract. But Kevin McCarthy has apparently already made these moves. The article writes here, it says here, the outlet notes, Axios notes, that McCarthy has already made moves indicating the investigations are coming down the pike. the minority leader, Kevin McCarthy, has allegedly sent, quote, preservation notices to departments throughout Biden's cabinet, ordering them to retain documents that might be needed for future GOP oversight hearings. Folks, again, I'm not telling you to throw all of your eggs in the Kevin McCarthy basket. I'm not telling you to throw all of your eggs in the basket. I'm not telling you to blindly trust Kevin McCarthy. I will say, though, that hearing that he's sending these notices out to those different departments in Biden's cabinet is a good sign. It's a good sign. And so we are happy to announce that if the Republicans do take back the House, it looks like that there are plans to investigate and not just sit on their hands and do nothing. Where it goes will remains to be seen. But we will at least get investigations or at least get some information. It looks like if we take back the House, when we take back the House. 10% of Democrats running for re-election, another article in the New York Post. 10% of Democrats running for re-election right now in 2022 are not running. Up for re-election, are not running. They're abandoning ship. They know they can't win. Joe Manchin is another example of that. Breitbart News article. Report, Joe Manchin may become an independent after White House accuses him of disloyalty. I've got two articles here on that. One from the Daily Wire, one from Breitbart. Manchin says he will not be bullied into submission on Build Back Better. He says he's from West Virginia. This is somebody, a dying breed of Democrat here, Joe Manchin. Senator Joe Manchin made it clear Monday that he was not backing down on his promise to vote on President Joe Biden's massive Build Back Better spending package. Manchin told anchor Bret Baier on Fox News Sunday that he was a definite no on this legislation, prompting outrage from many in his own party. But he followed that appearance with a Monday morning radio interview, doubling down on his position and reaffirming that he would not be bullied into changing his mind. Joining West Virginia Metro News, Talk Line with Hoppy Herkival, Manchin said that the distance between his position and that of others within his party had proved to be too far, adding, "We've been way too far apart philosophically." Manchin told Baier on Sunday that he could not vote for anything that he believed would worsen inflation, which he said West Virginians were already feeling across multiple aspects of their everyday lives, but that he also could not justify a vote for anything he could not go home and explain to his constituents. His position, he reiterated during the Monday radio interview, had not changed from the outset. He says, quote, "I knew where they were and I knew what they could and could not do. They just never realized it because they figured surely to God we can move one person. Surely we can badger and beat one person up. Surely we can get enough protesters to make that person uncomfortable enough," Manchin continued. Well, guess what? I'm from West Virginia. I'm not from where they're from. And they can just beat the living crap out of people and think they'll be submissive, period. Joe Manchin is disgusted with the Democrat Party. Joe Manchin says it doesn't matter if they're going to call me disloyal. I was not here elected by the Democrat Party. I was elected by West Virginia. And it is time that we get people and politicians to realize that you do not serve your political party. You serve your constituents. You do not serve the DNC. You do not serve, if you're a Democrat senator, you do not serve Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Joe Biden. You serve the people who voted you into office. And so hats off to Joe Biden. Sorry, not Joe Biden. Hats off to Joe Manchin. Hats off to Joe Manchin, who says, "I am loyal to my people." They accuse him of disloyalty. No, this is the biggest example of loyalty you could find. If he can't go back to West Virginia and explain to his constituents what this Build Back Better, Build Back Broke bill is, he's not going to vote for it. Congratulations, West Virginia. Even though you have a Democrat senator, at least the guy is showing you that he's responsible. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Joe Manchin is, the next Rand Paul, or that he's some sort of principled constitutional conservative, because he's not. But boy, did he save us here. And they're losing their minds over it. It's very important to understand that Manchin right now is governing the way the Constitution wanted the senators and the representatives to govern. Loyal to the people. Hats off to Joe Manchin. He may register, now he may change his registration. Bernie Sanders is an independent, technically. He's not a registered Democrat. Joe Manchin may be changing his party affiliation to independent. And I think it's a shrewd move, because I think anybody who's sitting there as a registered Democrat may be feeling a little guilt by association type of deal. And he may pull away, right, from that registered Democrat stigma. Remember, Trump supporters had a stigma. Registered Democrats have a stigma now too, because of this how much of a disaster this first year or so of the Democrat regime has been. So it's a shrewd move by Joe Manchin. You can come out and say he's a registered independent, and he can gain more of the Republican support in West Virginia, because it would be very easy to replace Joe Manchin with a Republican senator. This, I think, is his last-ditch effort to stay in power. But hey, if he's proving that he's reasonable and that he's not a tyrant, he at least deserves a round of applause for that, for not being a tyrant. His other views, I may not agree with him on many other things, but if he wants to take a stand against tyranny, I am all about that 10 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10. Manchin has remained firm in his call for a bill that tops out at $1.5 trillion, consistent not only with his public statements, but with an agreement he reached in July with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. So Joe Manchin is trying to keep these people honest. And you know what happens when you try and keep Democrats honest. They try to intimidate you. They call you a racist. They call you names. It's terrible. We know what it's like. And that's that. It's a good thing that Joe Manchin decided to be responsible, because we'd be in real trouble otherwise. And we still may be in real trouble, but we'd be in even bigger trouble if you can imagine that. Thank you guys for kicking it here with us on We Will Not Comply. Please head over to our website. You'll see it here. loudmajorityus.com. loudmajorityus.com, loudmajorityus.com. Please check it out. Head over there. Pick up a couple of your Let's Go Brandon shirts. They're going to be standing. They'll be sitting there. They were a big hit down in Turning Point, USA. Everybody loved them. Another great time. I want to thank everybody who continued to watch as we posted updates from Turning Point. It was a great time. Our next trip, again, is going to be to CPAC. CPAC 2022 down to Orlando. It's going to be a good time. If anybody can get down there for a day or two of the convention, you will not want to miss it. It's a great time. And to everybody, again, who's been loyal and supportive and is sticking with us through this holiday season, thank you so much. We really appreciate the support. And we could not do this without everybody here. Please remember to share the show. Distribution by proxy. We spent a lot of time with some of the guys from Project Veritas, and they told us just how well that works. Distribution by proxy. So please share this everywhere you can. Hit the share button. Give your friends the website, loudmajorityus.com. You can't post it on Facebook. We know that Facebook hates us, but you can post it elsewhere. Happy birthday to Russ. Happy second day of winter. And to everybody here, we know what it is. The 4 words that we repeat over and over and over again until the people in power get it or get the hell out of the way, like Steve Ballone, who gets it, who saw that we found him without a mask on in public after the mandate was instated, and now he says that he's not going to enforce it. You see, this is how government listens to the people. We repeat these words over and over and over again until the people in power get it or get the hell out of the way. And that is, once again, that if we do not consent, We will not comply. Thank you, guys. God bless you guys. God bless America. Head over to the website, loudmajorityus.com. Head over to YouTube. If you're on YouTube right now, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We could not do this without all of you. Please share it. And until next time, folks, stop complying and stay loud.